Welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Telese. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited because today I have someone here with me who has known me my entire life, loves me unconditionally as I love her, supported me through everything, all my adventures, which there has been so many. This is my sister, Jackie. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, you are always welcome wherever I am. You are welcome to be there.
Same for you.
Thank you. Sisters. So Jackie, still just to get the conversation started, tell us how your journey began, where it started, and what you have going on in your life.
Whew, that is a loaded question. I am in my 50 somethings.
Right.
And I am just coming out of a battle that, thank God was on that journey with me.
Yes.
And brought me to the other side. In January, I discovered at 2:00 in the morning on a Sunday a lump under my arm area on the side of my breast, and it was Sunday, but I called the doctor anyway, and he told me what I knew he was gonna say, that there was nothing he can do that day because it was Sunday, but he would put a note in the system for my doctor to call me the next day. Of course, I didn't wait for that.
Right.
I called both of my doctors, and whoever called first, we were gonna play tag team.
Exactly.
Whoever calls first, I'll go in and see them. My gynecologist, thank the Lord for her, Dr. Gia. She got me right in, and she told me, I feel the same thing you're feeling. And that began my journey, which thank God I am on the other side of now. But it took, well, I will say in February, after sending me to do a diagnostic mammogram. It's very important to get your test done regularly. And I was scheduled, had an appointment like within a couple of days of me finding them to get a mammogram. But she sent me for the diagnostic, and they did the diagnostic. They didn't see anything on the mammogram.
Wow.
But they did an ultrasound also, and they could see it in the ultrasound.
That's really, it's scary because we're told, to get your mammogram, but how many women know to ask for ultrasound?
Yeah.
We really don't,
And I don't know that they would actually do it just based on a request.
Right.
Because I was in the process of getting a diagnostic done, which is a more exhausting process of the mammogram, in which case they would do an ultrasound if they're not able to see the detail that they're looking for. And most younger women have dense breasts.
Right.
And they can't really see what they need to see in the mammogram. So, well, needless to say, after the ultrasound, them seeing it, I was in schedule for a biopsy, which they did. And my doctor, Dr. Gia, called me back within a couple of days and said she wasn't expecting to tell me what she had to say. And I'm so thankful that you and our older sister, who's now in heaven, were on the line with me. And she told me that it was cancer. And the next steps were to see the surgeon and to see the oncologist to get a plan in place. It took all of a month and me saying, I just want to know what I need to do.
Right.
I just want to get it started because I want to do my part of what I need to do. I know God uses different methods to get to the end result, and I wanted to do my part, whatever that was.
Right.
And I was told that because of the type that I had, which was HER2 positive, progesterone, and estrogen negative, that was fast growing. So they wanted to do the chemo as soon as possible to start shrinking it. And I did 6 rounds of chemo. After the chemo, they did another scan. My body was 100% responsive to the chemo. Thank God.
Blessing.
And from there, they did the surgery. And you would think, and I was praying, that I wouldn't have to have surgery if the chemo did what it was supposed to do. But the surgeon let me know that even if it is 100% responsive, you still have to do the surgery to clear the area, clean the area, make sure you have good margins, and also to check the lymph nodes because I had stage 2.
Okay.
It was in my lymph nodes. And they did the lumpectomy, and they also took the sentinel lymph node out, which is like one of the center lymph nodes, and then they took 2 around the sentinel lymph node, and thank God they both came back clean.
Thank the Lord for that.
Yes. And from there, it was 6 weeks of radiation. And radiation is a weird thing because it's working. You can't tell it's working.
Right.
But you lay on this table for like 20 minutes. They position these machines all around you, and they push buttons in another room. And they come back and tell you that you're done, and you're like, oh, I didn't even know you had started.
Wow. Wow.
But you know that it's working because you start seeing your skin change. You see darkness. Sometimes you have skin breakdown, lesions from where it's burning you. But you know that it's doing what it's supposed to do. So as of December 15th, 2023, my oncologist told me that I can officially say that I am cancer-free and in remission.
Wow.
And I finished my last treatment in the end of February, because with it being HER2 positive, I had to take a shot in my leg, Vesco Shot. Wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy because it was like, it took 5 minutes to administer it. And the first minute and a half to 2 felt like they were pushing acid because it burned so bad. But I learned a trick those last few months. I would pull up pictures, and this is another personal journey. I would pull up pictures of my new grandbaby, and I would let them play while I was doing the shot, and I would talk to the nurse about what the pictures were. And that was my distraction.
Right.
And,
Wow.
and now I'm on the other side of that. I've gained all of that, unfortunately, all of that weight back that I lost. And, you know, and I didn't say this, but I started this journey 3 days, well, the treatment itself, 3 days after you and I lost our oldest sister.
Yes.
And not only did we lose our oldest sister, but it was because of the same battle. And this was her third go round with it. And it was like I wasn't even really present to that whole journey of losing her because of the journey that I was on to try and get to the other side of this diagnosis. But I know that she was with me through this journey, and I'll never forget standing in the bathroom, looking at, because I had to have a port, looking at the incision to the port, and for the first time it really kind of hit me that this is real. And I could hear her voice saying, "Fight."
Wow.
And that was all she said, "Fight."
Wow.
And I carried that with me through this whole journey. And I knew that she was with me through the whole journey. And I knew you were with me through the whole journey. And praying and asking me how I was feeling and coming over and bringing me a garbage can when I was throwing up. I remember all of that. Yeah. And I think that going through this, it's like I didn't realize, I knew she was going through a lot, but the magnitude of it didn't really hit me until I was, going through it. And I'm trying to keep myself together. Thank you. And it gave me a newfound respect and she was already our hero.
Yes.
Shiro, I should say. But she was a trooper. She was so strong what I went through was not even an ounce of everything that she went through. And she would always have a smile on her face. She was always enjoying life. Even up to a month before she passed, a month and a half, she was out on a trip.
Yes, enjoying it.
Visit our uncle for his 82nd, I think, birthday, all the way down in Arkansas.
Transitioning from getting your healthy bill of health, how did you make that transition back into your everyday work life, the everyday work world? What was that like for you?
Well, I actually worked through chemo, which was a difficult task, but I'm very thankful for the job that I have. I've been there, this summer it'll be 9 years, I believe.
It's been 9 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I believe it's been 9 years. And they were very understanding and accommodating as I was going through chemo. There were days when I just couldn't, and they were understanding. And when I started, after I had surgery, I knew I was going to have to take some time off. And after I finished surgery, I knew I was also going to have to start radiation once I healed. So I took a leave of absence for the surgery, And when I found out the radiation was going to be every day for 6 weeks, I continued the leave until I was done with the radiation. So I was off for a few months, from August to December. And I went back this past December after I got my clean, well, just before I got my clean bill of health, actually. And it was, I wouldn't say difficult, but there was a transition period for me. And chemo brain is real. You tend to forget things. You have to search for words sometimes. With coming back, it definitely took some time to get into the groove of things, but I've been back now for a little over 6 months. And I feel like I really got back into my groove of things. And it I personally enjoy working. And I can remember calling the CFO and letting them know that I was going to have to do radiation every day for 6 weeks. And I was going to go back to work. But he was like, why don't you just go, continue your leave? You have the time until you're done.
Wow, that was really thoughtful too.
Yeah,
Because they come on back.
Yes, I thought so too. So I can definitely say that I feel like they had my best interest at heart when it came to my health. And it was appreciated. So, yeah, but it's good to be back. I take that, we were also kind of touching on budgets. I take the information that I've learned at work and my accounting sense, and I actually bring that home with me. And I have my spreadsheet, my like the ledger that we all have, that we've all learned. We take accounting classes in school. Well, I use my iPad as my accounting ledger, and I have all my bills listed out. And basically, what I do is I create a budget for the year.
Wow.
And it has like a list of all the bills that I have. And when you have your bills, make sure yourself is on there too, because your savings should be considered a bill, so that you feel like you have to do it. So put that on there too. And like your miscellaneous things, your gas and entertainment, because if you work, you should enjoy life too.
This is so true. Yes.
So I include all of those things on my budget, and then I have my columns by month going to the right. And each of those expenses, and sometimes we have expenses that may hit once or twice a year, like your taxes if you own a home. So I put those in there too, where they fall. And that way you can kind of know what you're working with. You have your checks, so you have all of your expenses, self-included. And then down below, you have your checks that come in. Like if you get paid bi-weekly, then you're going to have 2, times listed down there. If you get paid every other week or twice a month, however you get paid, you want to put that down on the bottom so that you can include what's coming in against what's going out. And then you have what's left over.
When you were talking about the budget and how you set that up, I'm thinking back when we were in school, we didn't learn about that. Yeah, we had accounting 101 and all that, but you didn't learn about finances and budgeting. I don't even think they taught you how to write a check
or
in
balance
school
a checkbook.
or balance a checkbook. And as you were talking, I'm thinking, you should teach this to students. This would be something good you could teach to, our community outside of school.
I would actually
love doing that.
Yes.
Because you love doing it, and I'm sure you would love sharing that knowledge. And we need it deeply.
I'm gonna have to put that on my to-do list.
Yes.
Which will be a short to-do list because, you know, with everything that happened over the past year, one of the things that I have been saying, why put off today? I mean, why put off till tomorrow what you can do today? So many people, they say, we should get together, or I miss you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me pull up my calendar. When are we gonna get together? So I have a friend that I met almost 9 years ago.
Wow.
And I say friend because you know how a person, when you talk to them, you can tell that you are of like mind.
Yes.
And this young lady, we've had to deal with each other over the years at work. And she's one of our vendors.
Okay.
And vendor? Well, no, she's one of our subcontractors.
Okay.
And we developed a friendship just by our communicating for work and realizing that we were of like mind. And it comes to, and it turned out that we actually went to the same church.
Same church, getting the same good teaching.
Yes.
Like-minded.
Yes. So for 9 years we've been talking, and she called me a week ago today and let me know, because she had retired to start her own business.
Nice.
And she told me that she came back to consult 2 days out of the week. And I told her I was so happy to hear from her, and we started saying we have been, saying that we were going to meet up for lunch. And I said, well, I am no longer saying we win, maybe one day. I said, I'm pulling out my calendar. When are we going to meet up for lunch?
Right. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. So that has been my motto. No waiting.
Don't
If
put it
there's
off.
something that I want to do, I'm doing it. And I am figuring out when, not should.
Right.
Or let's plan to someday.
Right.
Let's do it now.
So that mindset came from the journey.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. And I hope people can take that as something to think about, because don't put off something that you can do today, especially if it's something that you enjoy. Somebody you want to spend time with. Something, if you want to go back to school, start a different career, start a business. Don't put it off. Do it today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tomorrow, of course, we know it's not promised.
And speaking of business.
Yes.
So we have a young lady at work that she does like seminars and get-togethers for the women at work, because there aren't a lot of women in because I work for a security company, and typically people think of the male, it's a male dominant profession,
right?
But there are a lot of women in the security industry. And so she does different events for the women in the security industry. And her most recent event was to discuss finances, which was right up my alley. And it was, her opening statement was, do you have your finances in order after you finish collecting a W-2?
Wow, that's deep.
Yes.
Make you think.
Okay. And I was like, do I? And I was like, okay. I have, now I said my son was almost 27. You know that already, because that's your God, baby. It's my dad. But ever since he was about 5 years old, I have been saying I wanted to get in real estate.
Yes.
And I think I would enjoy doing event planning.
Yes.
And after listening to her seminar, or it was like a group chat.
Mm-hmm.
And she had a college friend there with her, and they were kind of bouncing off of each other, different ideas, and it was just an open forum, and it was really beautiful. And after listening to that and thinking, do I have my finances in order? It made me think back to those ideas of starting my own business. And that's my next journey. I mean, yes, of course, I'm going to continue doing what I love doing, which is accounting.
Yes.
But that's the next step.
That's amazing.
Because we are a family of entrepreneurs.
This is for sure.
And I need to do my part.
Yes. I'm so happy to hear that. That makes me happy because it feels good when we all love our jobs. It feels really good when you can do something on your own that can help impact other people. Because sometimes when we're in the company that we work for, you don't always get to see, or speaking for myself, you don't always get to see the impact that you make on others. But when you're doing something outside of that, and you're helping other people, like you say, empowering people, it's like, okay, that's what I'm here for. You know? I'm excited for you for that.
One of my favorite things to do, especially when I was going through that journey, was to sit in the backyard. And there is so much peace in nature. I would sit back there and I would watch the squirrels play around. I would watch the birds chase each other. I would just sit and watch the grass blow in the wind and look at the blades of grass and just find peace in it. And just being still and being one with nature. And now that I'm able to do more than just enjoy nature, because at that point it was like the bare minimum was what I could do, and that was it. But it was enjoyable, and sitting back there with a good book. And now that I'm able to do more, I am enjoying trips. I took a drive all the way down to as far as you could go, to Key West, Florida, and sat on the dock at a restaurant with the rain falling down, and the whole wall was open, so you could see the dock and the boats, and you could hear them and see the rain and even feel the rain a little bit, but it was cool because it was hot there. And it was just beautiful being away. And at home, I enjoy going to the health club, and I've started to swim again. I had not swam in years, so I'm implementing that in my workout and doing the treadmill. But I prefer the swimming because while there's resistance, it's not as hard of an impact on your body. You know, like when you have, I'm not as young as I look.
Amen.
Compliment.
Yes.
Knees ain't what they used to be. So the swimming helps with not having so much of an impact when you're walking on the treadmill. So I do that, and my favorite pastime, spending time with my grandbaby. She is 8 months old. She'll be 9 months on the 19th.
Time is flying.
Yes, little Miss Ayana Rose. Love that little girl to pieces.
She's such a sweet, sweet baby.
I could just sit and talk and smile and laugh with her all day long. And she is such a happy baby. Such a happy baby. And she just brings happiness to the room. So there's no way you could have any other mood if you're in the room with her.
Full of joy.
Yes. That brings me happiness and peace. Yeah.
All of those things sound so good. As you were talking, I was like kind of melting thinking about it. Like, oh yes, in the backyard. Oh, traveling. Yes.
And another thing that I'm doing is getting in contact with family, because we lost our grandma in 2011 and we lost our mom in 2017.
Yes.
And our family feels like everyone is spread
All over
so
the
far
place.
when we're here in Illinois. A lot of us. I mean, some of us have journeyed outside of Illinois, outside of the U.S.
Right.
But text messaging brings us right to the room. So I recently put together a text message that has almost all of our cousins on our mom's side in one room. So we can say good morning to everybody with the click of a few fingers. And that makes me happy. Yeah.
You've literally brought all of us together.
And I'm loving it. I mean, I may get on y'all nerves sometimes when I'm throwing those text messages out. Just want to say I love y'all.
I'm like, Jackie must be on her lunch break. All these texts coming. No, but it's good. And it feels good to see all of our cousins, some who we haven't seen in years. Like you said, they're right there in our phone and we can say hi.
Exactly.
It's really nice.
And now all of the cousins have all of the cousins' numbers.
Yes.
And that makes me happy too.
You did that. You built that.
Like, if something needs to be dispensed, we can do it quickly. And everybody will know.
Everybody will know.
So I just want to keep that going, and I want us to spend time together.
Yes.
I don't want it to just be stuck in the phone. I want us to physically lay eyes on each other.
I love that so much. This has been such a great conversation. So inspiring and so just make your soul feel good. Your spirit feel good. And to hear what you've been through and to see where you are today, it just makes me feel inspired, and happy that you're sitting here with me on this couch. I feel blessed to have you here.
I feel blessed too. Yes. And I'm so thankful for you. And I'm thankful that you invited me to do this, to share my story and my journey with the multitude.
Yes, absolutely. So what last tips would you like to leave for people?
Well, I would say definitely put your budget together. That way you know what you're working with so that you can enjoy life to the fullest. And then you have planned for those surprises. And I would also say definitely be vigilant in your health care. Check yourself on the regular, and definitely follow up with your doctors if you need to. Stay on top of your health. You are definitely your best advocate. And finally, I would say enjoy life and don't say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. Make a plan and do it.
Yes.
Or we should get together, and don't plan it.
Change it to when we get together.
When it's said, plan it out.
Yeah.
Plan it out. Yeah. And put it in your calendar so you don't forget.
Right. This has been so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sis.
Thank you. And thank you all for watching another episode of Conversations with Telese, and we will see you next week. Bye.